Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between majestic mountains, there lived a kind and gentle king and his beloved queen. Their happiness was complete when a beautiful daughter was born to them, whom they named Snow White, for her skin was as fair as snow, her lips as red as roses, and her hair as black as ebony. As Snow White grew, her beauty and grace outshone all in the land. But her stepmother, the new queen, grew jealous. This queen was vain and wicked, her heart darkened by envy. She possessed a magic mirror, which she would often consult, asking, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And for many years, the mirror's answer was always the queen. Yet as Snow White blossomed into womanhood, the mirror's response changed, and it proclaimed Snow White as the fairest in the land. Enraged by jealousy, the queen plotted to rid herself of Snow White. One fateful day, she ordered a huntsman to take Snow White deep into the forest and to bring back her heart as proof of her demise. Unable to harm the innocent princess, the huntsman spared Snow White's life, urging her to flee and never return. Lost and alone in the heart of the forest, Snow White stumbled upon a small cottage. Inside, she found everything in disarray, as if its occupants had left in a hurry. Exhausted and frightened, she cleaned the cottage and fell asleep on one of the tiny beds. Little did she know that the cottage belonged to 7 dwarfs who worked in the nearby mines. When they returned home, they were surprised to find their humble abode sparkling clean and a beautiful maiden asleep in one of their beds. Moved by her plight, the dwarfs welcomed Snow White into their home. In return for their kindness, Snow White cared for their house and cooked delicious meals for them. Meanwhile, the queen, deceived by the huntsman's report, believed Snow White to be dead. But her magic mirror continued to insist that Snow White was the fairest of all. Consumed by rage, the queen disguised herself and visited the dwarf's cottage, offering Snow White a poisoned apple. Entranced by its beauty, Snow White took a bite and fell into a deep slumber, just as the queen had hoped. Heartbroken, the dwarfs placed Snow White in a glass coffin in the forest, where they could visit her and mourn her forever. Seasons passed, and one day, a prince, enchanted by Snow White's beauty, stumbled upon her resting place.
As he gazed upon her serene face, he leaned forward and kissed her gently. Instantly, Snow White awoke from her enchanted sleep, and the forest rejoiced with the song of birds and the whisper of leaves. The prince declared his love for Snow White, and they returned to the kingdom together. When the wicked queen learned of Snow White's revival, she fled in fear, never to return. Snow White became queen, ruling the kingdom with compassion and wisdom, while the dwarfs remained her most loyal friends, and they all lived happily ever after, in a land where kindness triumphed over jealousy, and true love conquered all.